Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kayleigh. So today I wanted to do a get ready with me video on this look. We did the hair and the makeup and also talk about 3 really exciting things. This has been an amazing past 3 years, but really like the past few months have been crazy, like a whirlwind of things happening. So that's why you haven't seen me, because I've just been enjoying and loving life and really trying to feel everything that's been happening around me and be able to truly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. I hope you guys like it. Please give a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to subscribe, and also subscribe to my second channel. It'll be down below. Yeah, let's get started. First, let me just do my eyebrows because I feel like I haven't been on YouTube looking like this in a hot minute. And this is the thicker bad boy that I just like roughly draw in my eyebrow shape with, and it's a little bit on the lighter side compared to my eyebrow hairs. That's why I love using it. Super fine brow detailer by Too Faced, the ultra slim one now in dark brown, so it's a little darker and I can get more of a precise line with it. And I just use this to fill in really like the upper part and the lower part of my brow. Quickly curl my lashes, and I always do it twice on both eyes. Lancome Cils Booster as my lash primer. 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. And I love this because it's not like too sticky. Like it holds the brows up pretty much the whole day, but it's not like cementing them down in my face. You know what I'm saying? It gives more of like a fluffy brow look. Kind of lightly press it down. It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, the one and only. This is the best, guys. If you have never tried it, you absolutely have to. Okay, it's good enough. Good enough for now. This is like the base that I like to start with before I do anything else. So the exciting news number 1 is I'm engaged. I'm engaged. So what I wanted to do today was kind of talk about the engagement and a little bit about him, since you guys don't know him at all and you have no idea what's been going on with us because I never really told you guys. I kind of hinted at it a little bit in a Get Ready With Me maybe like a year or 2 ago, that I had a boyfriend, that I was dating someone, but that's really all that I said. And let me start doing my makeup while I talk about this. This is the Paula's Choice Rescue and Repair Intensive Moisturizer. This is to calm normal to dry skin. I just recently got this, so I wanted to try it. I stopped drinking coffee for like 2-3 weeks, and then today I was like, you know what, I'm kind of craving it, so I made it a little bit, and now my body is freaking out. Like, what did you just do to me? I just had a detox and now you're putting it back in my system. Oh, that feels nice. Very hydrating. Laura Mercier eye cream. So we met in 2020. We've been together for 3 years, and his name is Ryan, and always has been my favorite boy name, so that's kind of funny. But basically, my best friend Luana, who you guys have seen before on this channel, she introduced me to him. She was like, I know you just went through a breakup, but there's this guy that I think would be absolutely perfect for you. I can't stop thinking about how you guys need to be together. And like, so my friend Luana is very like in tune with things. Like her intuition is so strong. When she feels something, it's probably gonna happen. I was willing to talk to someone. You know, I wasn't ready for a relationship per se, but like talking, yeah, sure. Why not, you know? I was like, let me see what he looks like. We'll go from there. And so she sent me a picture of him, and I was like drooling over the picture. I'm like, oh my god, this is like my dream guy. He's literally the hottest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, checks every single box if you're talking about like physical attractiveness for me. Just very handsome, you know? Like, my first impression of him was, and I said it to her, I was like, wow, now that is a man. And she started laughing, and she sent him my picture, and he went and like looked through my Instagram. I looked through his Instagram, and then he was actually the one to send me a DM first. So he slid into my DMs. I'm gonna mix Il Makiage F I'm Flawless and the e.l.f. concealer, the hydrating one, the camo hydrating concealer. I have his first DM that he sent me saved in my phone because I was like, you know what if something comes of this? I want to save it. Oh yeah, I forgot that I also like to do my foundation at the same time. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. I'm gonna do 2 pumps because we're going for full coverage today. So what's funny is that his first DM to me was actually having to do with Huda. And that's actually how my best friend and I met when I was still in Maryland a year before all of that craziness happened. Luana had actually reached out to me on Instagram because I like posted something with Huda and I looked really sad in it. And she was like, are you and Huda okay? And then after that we had clicked and I had talked to her for that whole like last year in 2019. I think I actually might have met her before that too. Maybe it was 2018. But anyways, so Luana and I had already been talking like pen pals pretty much because she lived in Florida and I lived in Maryland. And so, yeah, we just like hit it off. And because of that, because we talked like every day for a year or so, I really trusted her and her intuitions. Like if she was feeling something, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. So anyways, he sent me a DM. It was about Huda, which was funny because that is what Luana had very first DM'd me with when I first met her. But we were like kind of talking about our dogs. He also has a pit bull. And it started off like that, which is, it's very easy to talk to me if you immediately start talking about my dog. Obviously, I'm gonna like immediately fall in love with you because Huda is the most important thing to me in my life. I remember that he really wanted to talk to me over FaceTime because he told me later that he thought I was catfishing him. He thought that like my pictures on my Instagram were way too good and that couldn't possibly be me. I was very nervous to FaceTime with him because I had only ever had one real boyfriend my whole life, like one serious relationship, and it lasted for 12 years. So I didn't know how to date. I didn't know how to talk to anyone anymore. And I felt like texting was the easiest, but then, you know, it was getting to the point where you can't just text forever. Like you gotta move on, you know? You gotta start doing the calling so you can hear each other's voices. So we did that, I remember, for a few days. And then eventually I finally FaceTimed him after he had been asking. And I remember I didn't want to show him my face. I don't know, I was just very scared. I just got this e.l.f. putty bronzer, so I'm going to try that out. Let's see how this goes. It's a little dark. Oh, wow. That's really dark. I remember the very first time we FaceTimed, I was too nervous to show him my face. So all that he could see was the back face of the phone. So rather than, you know, FaceTiming with the front camera, it was FaceTiming with the back camera. So all you could see was like my pants and my socks, you know? And you know what? It was cool because he didn't push me to show my face. I think he was just happy in general that I was on FaceTime with him and that we were making progress. I was so weird. Really, truly, when I think back on it, I'm like such a weirdo. But also maybe it was like kind of a little bit of a chase because I was playing so hard to get in a way, like in his eyes. So yeah, maybe that ended up actually working in my favor and I didn't even know. I didn't even realize it. I kind of like that putty bronzer now that I blended it out more. For blush, I'm gonna do a mixture. These are old, they're from e.l.f. The contouring and bronzing cream. I know that they have similar versions of this now in like these little pots. I just need to buy them. I'll kind of like really load this up and then blend it in with the sponge. Yeah, then we eventually met in person and we just hit it off from there. So I got everything situated with my apartment and he moved in. And it was just, it's history after that. Like, I am very comfortable with living with someone because I had for, you know, 12 years. So that was very normal to me and it wasn't hard to adjust to that. However, for him, he's never lived with a girl before. And I thought it was gonna be hard for him to adjust, but it turns out that it just happened like that. Like, we just clicked immediately. Yeah, it was super easy. I never asked him to move in. Not once. I never asked him to move in. He just moved in. Like, over the days, he would be sleeping in my apartment, and slowly he would bring more and more things from his house to my apartment. The Laura Mercier translucent powder. So I use a dry brush for this. I mean, a dry sponge for this. I pat it in and then I rub it on the palm of my hand until it warms up and becomes very soft looking. And then I'll put it on under my eyes and on my nose. And then I will pick up a ton and bake under this area here. And I'll just let that sink in. I'm gonna be wearing a pink shirt today, so for the eyes, I am mostly gonna be using from this nude palette from Huda Beauty. It's called Medium Nude Obsessions. I love this. This is definitely one of my favorites. But I'm also gonna take a few like neutral shades from my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, Semi-Sweet, that probably expired like 3 years ago, but whatever, still use it. You see this is like so used right here, mousse. Yeah, we're gonna go in there. All right, so now we've completely moved in to this apartment and everything's going honestly amazing. I enrolled into nursing school, and well, first I had to get prerequisites, and that I did at a community college. I had to take so many classes because my first degree is in art, and I had like maybe 1 credit that I could transfer over. I had to do everything, all of the required classes. So it took me like 1.5 years, and I did 6 classes each semester. So after that 1.5 years, I finally applied to nursing school, and I did get in, but I had to wait like 6 months till it started. I actually got into 3 nursing schools. The first one I had to decline because I would have had to move all the way to, I cannot remember what the name is, but it's like all the way on the other side of Florida. And then the second one was expensive. And then I ended up going into FIU because it's half the price of all the other nursing programs around here that are accredited, of course. My degree is from an accredited university. I'm just going in now with Coconut Cream, which is that whiter shade in the Too Faced palette. And I think I'm gonna go in with this lighter pink. So yeah, I ended up graduating from FIU in December. I got a 4.0 magna cum laude. I don't know how the heck I pulled that out. Yeah, that was crazy. It was an accelerated program, so it was only 1 year and 2.5 months. And although it was very fast, I seriously learned so much. Clean brush now, just to kind of blend everything together up here. But yeah, he was so supportive through all of that. You know, it was a lot of long hours of me studying at the house and not being able to do anything fun with him. And he would literally just sit there and be cool with it. You know, he would be like on his phone or on his computer watching TV. I'm the kind of person where my love language is physical touch or just like being around me. And he knows that. So he would just sit there while I studied. It was amazing. Because I didn't want him to leave, you know? I mean, I would obviously let him leave. He can go hang out with his friends. It's not a big deal. But he knows that for me, I enjoy your company even if like we're not speaking. I can't really explain it. And yeah, he would just sit there and let me do my thing. And then, you know, a lot of times he would drive me to school or drive me to exams. He was extremely supportive the whole time, and it was amazing because I was afraid that if I am putting all of my energy into school and I can't put any energy into anything else, I was afraid that, you know, he might lose interest in me, but that was definitely not the case. It actually made him more interested in me, that I was so determined, trying so hard to better myself, you know, like that was very sexy to him. Yeah, it's like, you know, that independent woman vibes. A lot of guys like it and some guys don't, but he loved that about me, that I was like so into the whole nursing thing and nothing was gonna stop me. Like I was gonna get that degree no matter what. All the crying, all the tears, I didn't care. I was gonna make it happen. I'm going to darken it up now with this one here. So come December of 2022 is when I graduated. It was December 13th. Family came down to celebrate with me. They were there at graduation, my mom, my dad, my stepmom, Chris. I FaceTimed some of my sisters. You know, everybody congratulated me. It was like such an awesome feeling. And we went out to dinner with my dad and my stepmom. And at the end of dinner, my dad had to go to the bathroom. And I saw Ryan go in there, following him after that to go to the bathroom. Of course, I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were just going to the bathroom. But apparently, while he was in there, he had asked my dad permission to marry me. And he had told me afterwards the reason he did it in the bathroom was because there really was no other way to like get him alone without me also being there. So of course my dad said yes, gave him a big hug and said welcome to the family. And we also have this, sorry my camera cut off, but my dad has actually met him multiple times for things like my niece's birthday or Christmas celebrations and stuff. So they have met a few times and they know him pretty well, I would say. You know, he was like so happy because that's all he's ever wanted from me. I think out of all of the kids that he's had, me getting married and having babies has been like the ultimate, because he knows what I went through. You know, like my brother had already gotten married a few years ago. My littlest brother got married a few years ago too. And then my stepsister Kinsey just got married last year. Bailey, my other stepsister, is getting married in a few months, which I'll be going to that. I'm a bridesmaid in her wedding. So the only person that isn't married in the family is me and my sister Brooke. But Brooke is like not being very interested in dating people. You know, she's very much in tune with herself and doing her own thing and having her space. Whereas me, I crave a relationship. I crave having another person there. I love that feeling of, you know, having like a best friend that lives with me. Yes, I am his oldest daughter. Of course, he's gonna want a happy ending for me, but after what I had went through, I believe that that was his top priority. So he was very, very happy, and I had no idea that they talked about this, not one clue. My dad, Chris, and Ryan were like acting completely normal, like I didn't notice anything at all. You know, if someone had just told me that they wanted to marry my daughter, I wouldn't be able to hold the secret. I really wouldn't be able to. I would be freaking out. I wouldn't be able to act normal, but they did a good job and I had not a single clue what was happening. And to be honest, I really didn't know if he was ever gonna propose. I mean, we had talked about it a few times. He did ask for my ring size one time. We looked at rings together. You know, he had an idea of what I liked. We had an idea of what type of things that we wanted for a wedding, but it was never like, I don't know, he just didn't give off the vibe that he was really gonna do it. So in my mind, I was just having such a good time, like being in a relationship where I'm actually respected, I'm loved, you know, he's faithful to me, he supports me in every decision that I make and my career, what I do, you know, YouTube, nursing. I hadn't ever like felt that, all of those things at the same time before. So I was just enjoying myself, you know, and I didn't expect a proposal. I think I want to do something light and shimmery on the lid. So I barely have any left. It's called Pink Sugar from this Too Faced Semi-Sweet palette. Let's see how this looks. Ooh. I'm gonna start with a brown liner and I might do a black like on the outer corner. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in Ash Brown. This is what I use for my brows, which I will go in and like fill them in a little bit more in a second. Do a nice winged liner. I think the only thing I hate about this one versus the Urban Decay brow blade is that this one is like very much hard to control in terms of the amount of liquid that comes out. Like sometimes I get a really nice fine thin line, but other times it's like the whole damn thing comes out. I use the Maybelline Fit Me. Grab like a ton of it and just press it on, like set those brows in place. And I feel like it just kind of chills them out a little bit so it doesn't look so inky, you know? For the lower lash line, I'm gonna start off with this one that we had used in the crease and then use this darker one like more towards the middle of the eye, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna do mascara now on my top and lower lashes. But yeah, so then December 24th rolls around, which is Christmas Eve. And he was working on Christmas. So we were basically going to celebrate everything on Christmas Eve. So he had gotten reservations for a nice restaurant, but I love surprises. So every time he does this, I tell him, don't tell me where we're going, because I love to just like go to a new restaurant I've never heard of before, or go to one that I already know that we love, but it's a surprise, so I didn't know we were going there. I just like to guess, you know, like not be sure where we're going and just know that he is taking me somewhere romantic and I'm gonna have a good time, because I have a good time everywhere that we go. So that was the case. I had gotten ready. I did like a little Christmas Eve type of makeup. You know, I had like a cute outfit on, and he never acted differently at all. Exactly the same. I'm all ready to go. And actually Luana had helped me pick out my outfit, because sometimes she does that. I'm like, how does this look? Does this look cute? Should I change something? And so I got in her approval, so I know that I look good that day. So we got in the car on our way to dinner, and I still, you know, don't know where I'm going, but I'm excited. Still not acting differently. Everything is the same as usual, except for the fact that it's Christmas Eve. So me and him both are like a little more dressed up than usual, because it's a holiday. And he like starts going off into a park, and I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, and I was like, where are we going? And he was like, oh, we're gonna take some pictures by the sunset. I thought that would be cool to like have pictures like that, since it's a holiday, you know, for Christmas Eve, something that we can always look back on. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm excited. Let's go. I was excited because I'd never been to that park before. It was beautiful. There was nobody there. It was really cold outside. We had a cold front here in Florida, so that was the only thing that was unfortunate. And we didn't have a sunset because of the cloudy sky, and honestly it looked like it was gonna snow, and it was freezing, which is why I was wearing a jacket. But I'm like, you know what, whatever. I don't care that it's not sunsetting. Like, we can still get some cute pictures. We get out of the car and I start walking to the pavilion so that we can walk out to the beach area, and I noticed that he's like waiting at the car on his side. Little did I know that he was actually praying and getting the ring into his back pocket. I was just like standing there. I'm like, babe, are you coming? Like, hello. So he takes my hand, and I actually started filming like a clip of me holding his hand and walking on the pavilion, because I thought that would be cute, like a little memory. So I started filming, and then he had told me afterwards that he thought I knew what was gonna happen because I started filming. And I told him, I'm like, no, I had no idea. I just wanted like a cute little moment of us holding hands. So we get there to the end of the pavilion, and I see this huge sign. It's not a sign, it's like letters, huge letters that are as tall as me, I think, maybe a little short. No, they were shorter than me. In the sand, a red carpet, roses everywhere, petals all over the place. I see two people there. One is a photographer, and the other one, I don't know what he was doing there, but I thought maybe that they were like family for the person that was gonna get engaged, and I thought that I was ruining the like engagement, like another couple was gonna come in. So I was like, oh shoot, babe, let's go over here. So I started walking him over to the other side of the beach, because I legitimately thought that some other couple was gonna get proposed to. And he like was like, babe, where are you going? And I'm like, I don't wanna ruin the engagement for this couple. Come on, let's go over here. I don't want to be in the way of pictures and stuff like that. And he was like, no, you goofball. He was like, this is for you. I was like, what? I was so beyond shocked, because I've never really said it. I don't want to cry, but I've always wanted it. I never envisioned it to be the way that it was at all. Like, I would have been happy if he had just proposed to me like at the restaurant with my mom and stepmom and my real mom there, you know, with a freaking ring pop. Like, I really didn't care about the size of the ring, the kind of ring, where he did it. I didn't like, I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of person. I'm very simple. I am happy with the littlest of things. And for him to go like above and beyond, I was just like, I felt like I didn't deserve it. I'm like, what the heck is all of this? It's like crazy. Oh, I don't want to ruin my makeup because I just did it. But I was totally shocked. And then what started coming into my mind, it was so funny, like as I'm walking down, I start seeing my best friend and her fiance pop out of the freaking like grass. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she's popped out with her phone recording us, recording me and him walking down the little red carpet. I remember on the video I had said, oh my God, that's why you didn't text me back. Like everything started clicking in my head and I'm like, did she plan this with him? Like how there were so many things running through. I'm like, how did he get these letters in the sand? How did he time this perfectly? Where did all these flowers come from? Who the heck are these people over there? By the time we get there to like the little marry me sign, I truly don't even remember what he said because I was kind of like blacked out at that point, and it was cold too, so we were both like freezing and shaking, and he had took my hand. I think he had said like, you know, I love you so much. It was, I remember he had said a joke, something about like, oh, I feel like I'm on The Bachelor right now giving you a rose. That was funny. But oh, he had said like, you taught me how to love somebody, and I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Stuff like that. I can't exactly remember. It was like total blackout. Very cute though in the moment, and I remember I looked away for a second at the beautiful water because I couldn't even believe where the heck I was. Okay, let me do my lips really quick while I continue telling the story. So then he gets down on his knee, question to ask you, and he was like, will you marry me? He opened the box, and when I saw the ring, I was in like a double shock state, and I couldn't say yes, like I couldn't, like there were no words that were coming out, just like, oh my God, just like standing there. And he was like, is it a yes or no? He's like, what is it? And I'm like, oh yes, yes. Because I just, wow, that ring like really caught me off guard. But I just thought it was so funny because I had actually left him there like hanging without an answer for like maybe a good 10-15 seconds. I was just staring at it like, oh my God. After that, we just took like a bunch of pictures. I was crying and hugging my best friend, and she was telling me how they planned it together for months. They've been planning it since like August of 2022. And the guy that had been there, that I had no idea who he was the guy who set it all up and like got the flowers out there. And she had gotten there about like I think 30 minutes beforehand just to make sure everything looked perfect, which is just so cool of her. Like, I can't believe it. Basically what happened was Ryan gave her the idea and was like, this is what I want to do, help me do this for Kayleigh. And they got it all together. Like they figured out who they could rent the letters from, and the setup that they wanted. They ordered a few things. Like there were some little candles, like electric candles that they had all around in like a heart shape, and they had ordered that on Amazon. And then the photographer was hired because he saw her pictures from a coworker. A coworker had had a child and she took baby photos of him, and Ryan was like, oh my gosh, this is such good quality. I love the way that you take photographs and I want you to be our photographer. And luckily she had said yes for that specific day. I can't believe that they had spent so many hours and so many months planning this. He had had the ring since like October. I had not a single clue. It is custom. He custom made it with the jeweler. Revlon Untold Stories. And that was Youngblood lip liner in malt. And then I'm gonna go over with the Laura Mercier lip glaze in blush. Love these still. These are so good. I'm gonna spray this MAC Fix Plus Magic Radiance. So what I like to do for highlighter, a little trick, is I take like a lip mask. This one's from Sigma. And then some liquid drops. These are from Kokie Cosmetics. And it just melts into the skin, but like it's so skin-like. Kind of brings your skin back to life. Like, look at that. Oh my goodness. For my hair, I do not know what I'm gonna do. This is like a mess. I think I'm just gonna curl a few pieces. After the proposal, we went to a place called Maestro's. It was so delicious. We had told them that, you know, we had just got engaged, so they gave us like super special treatment. It was a very expensive meal, but it was great. Their mashed potatoes, the garlic mashed potatoes, are so good. I was just, you know, enjoying life. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. But at the same time, I had to study for the NCLEX, which is an exam, a state board exam to become a registered nurse. So I had graduated with a bachelor's in nursing, but the problem is you can't practice as a nurse until you pass that state board exam. So I had given myself about a month to study, which is why you guys never saw me in the month of January, because I was studying my butt off. And what's hard is that the exam covers everything from start to finish that I learned in nursing school. So the amount of information is just insane. I can go into this on a totally separate video of how I studied and stuff, but regardless, I feel like almost everyone I've ever talked to or that I've heard talk about the NCLEX always says the same thing, that you truly feel like you failed after you took it. And that was exactly me. He was getting food for going to work, and I was like waiting there so that I could, you know, get some food too. And he came out with the food. I remember he was like rushing to come out with the food, and he was like, what happened? What happened? I was like, I didn't submit it yet because I want you to be here. So then I submitted it in the parking lot of Chipotle, and then we saw that I had passed, and it was like the best feeling ever. I was almost gonna start bawling in the middle of the Chipotle parking lot. But yeah, we were so happy. And then he went to work, and I went home and I ate Chipotle, and it was amazing. I was like, what a great way to celebrate by eating Chipotle. Yeah, when we had seen that it said pass, like, oh my gosh, you guys, I was freaking out. I truly, let me just tell you, I really truly thought I didn't pass. I thought for sure it was gonna say fail. That's how bad I felt afterwards. But yeah, I passed and I became a registered nurse, and now I can officially practice in Florida. But I actually have a multi-state license. I'm not sure how that works, if I still have to take an exam to practice in other states. But I decided to opt for the multi-state option in case we ever decided to move. Okay, I'm gonna curl my hair now with my Luxie curling wand. So that was the second thing that I wanted to tell you guys, that I'm officially a registered nurse. And the third thing I wanted to tell you guys about that I said in my last video, but I know not everyone likes nursing type content, and you may not have seen it because it was like kind of towards the end of the video, but I did get a job, and it is in a CV ICU unit at a local hospital that I really, really wanted to work at because it is so nice, and it's just known for like having newer equipment and, you know, like really having a good residency program for new grad nurses so that you can really learn. I may travel in the future. I may go into a CRNA program. You know, I'm really not sure because I don't know if I want to do school again anytime soon. That was a lot for me. It was kind of traumatizing a little bit, so I don't know if I want to go back to school. I'm still thinking about it. I definitely am in a good position to if I wanted to. Yeah, very scared to do my practicum there in the cardiovascular ICU unit, but my teacher, my clinical instructor had gotten me in, and I'm like, you know what, let's just go for it, let's just do it. And I ended up loving it. Not necessarily that hospital, but I loved the nurses that taught me. I had a new one actually every single time because it was like a little unorganized. Every single person does stuff different ways, and it's kind of cool to see, in my perspective, what I feel like works best for me as a nurse. You know, maybe the way one nurse does something, I wouldn't do it that way, but the way another nurse does that thing, I would do it that way. My orientation starts on the 13th of March. Orientation is a week long. It is half virtual and half in person. So the virtual part is like lectures, and then the in-person part is skills testing on the mannequins to make sure that I know what the heck I'm doing. Which luckily, because I worked at Jackson, I feel like I did everything except starting an IV, literally. I feel very good about the skills that I know how to do. And then after that first week, I start with my preceptor, and it's a 12-week residency program. And then after that, I am off on my own. It's just crazy how everything happened. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe life is more about taking risks when it comes to certain things and not being so complacent and just living your life the way it is, even though you're not happy, just because you don't feel like making any changes. You know, I feel like this whole thing just taught me a lesson. Like, don't be afraid to make those changes if you feel like they need to be made. Don't ignore them. Like, I felt like for months I was ignoring things that were, well, a lot longer than that, but towards the end it was very much like me ignoring what was actually really happening and just trying to pretend like everything was okay because I didn't want to leave the house, the family, you know, my life there, being in Maryland. I feel like you have to realize that, yes, in certain situations there may be a lot of pros, but even if there is only 1 or 2 cons, depending on what they are and how bad they're affecting you and your life and your well-being, your mental health, physical health, those 2 cons could potentially be the reason that you need to change and do something else and move on from whatever that situation is. And that's what it was for me. Well, it was a lot more than 2 cons, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be like, well, I have 10 pros over here and 8 cons over here, so I'm gonna stay in this situation because the pros outweigh the cons. No, it could be like 1 or 2 cons, but if they're that bad that it's affecting you and your life and everyone around you that horribly, then you should probably do something about it. Don't ignore it. And I feel like that's what this whole situation has taught me, you know, to just trust my instincts and know that I can make good decisions for myself. And that, number 2, I'm smart. I can go to school and I can get A's. You know, that I have so much more confidence in myself than I ever did before. I truly, if you had told me that I was gonna go into a nursing program and end with a 4.0, I would have been like, you're absolutely out of your mind. That's impossible. I'm not smart enough. But I did it. You know, there's a lot of things that you think you can't do, but if you just went and tried it just for the heck of it and like put everything into it, I bet you could do it. You know, you may think that you are a certain way because someone keeps telling you you're that way, but that doesn't mean it's true. You are what you believe you are, not what other people say about you. Let me change my shirt. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much. You know that. I can't wait to film new videos for you. Probably gonna go back a little bit to the old style videos just because truly that's what I loved to do. And I feel like even though times are changing and like new influencers are coming around and doing their own things and creating new content that we've never seen before, I want to like delve into that a little bit, but at the same time I'm like, well, I want to do me. Like, I just want to do what I originally did on here. There's no point of me trying to act like I'm someone else, like these new influencers. I'm just going to do what I do, what I know that I do well, and that's that. I might throw in some videos of nursing just because I don't know where else the heck to put them. And then the vlogs, I think I'm going to try to keep on my second channel. So make sure to subscribe down below if you aren't already to my second channel. And don't forget to thumbs up this video if you liked it. Please subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.